All right, welcome back to another episode of the Podrace. We're going to continue on with our Star Wars month, Star Wars marathon this week and talk about the prequels, episodes 1 through 3. Last week we talked about the OG trilogy, our thoughts kind of running through memories of that trilogy and our feelings. This week will be the prequels, next week will be the sequels, and then we'll get into Mando right before the release of the movie in just a couple weeks. So we'll start off with Phantom Menace, episode 1. Do you want to start off with Phantom Menace? You want me to get into it?
Uh, I'll let you go because I feel like you'll be more negative than I will be on it. So I could bounce off of that.
All right. I think Phantom Menace out of the three has aged the best in terms of initial reactions compared to now. Obviously, Revenge of the Sith is the best one. Don't get me wrong there. But I think I like Phantom Menace more than Attack of the Clones, and yeah, I mean you already know that. So I will say, for this being the first Star Wars movie to come out in 16 years after Return, if I can't imagine some of the reactions when they saw the title scroll and it was all about politics as for their Star Wars movie.
Yeah, and then that's
Even
the
though
entirety of
like
the movie itself is all politics.
even though the OG trilogy like kind of was like that with the Empire and everything, it's obviously nothing compared to this trilogy. But I also don't hate the politics in
No,
the trilogy at all.
I think the politics is like integral to the trilogy.
Yeah,
Like I think it's like the foundation of it. Like it needs the politics to
yeah,
work.
yeah. I agree. Um, I don't know. Phantom, like, I don't really have like. I'm more negative on Attack of the Clones than Phantom Menace. Like, I think it's a fine movie. I do think Jar Jar, even though I don't hate the character as much, he like rewatching it. There's definitely a lot of times where he's too. It's too much. Like they were trying to make this character this iconic character, like comedic relief, and he is iconic, but not for the reasons that George was intending.
Hmm.
It's just kind of crazy that he's really one of the five main characters of this movie. I feel like, which is just kind of insane.
He probably is in that conversation. I mean, it's Anakin, Obi-Wan, Qui-Gon, Padme. Uh, you might want to include Maul, Shmi, Watto to a sense. He's not really main,
Yeah,
but
I would
he's in
say
there.
Jar Jar is more. I would say Maul is comparable, but I don't know. I think Jar Jar's in it a lot.
Jar
He's got
Jar's
a
in it.
lot of
Yeah,
screen time.
he's probably like the fifth or sixth like guy
Yeah,
that's a focus in that movie. Um, but I don't hate the character like most people do. I think the character is fine. He is what he is.
yeah. Should have got Darth Jar Jar
I know.
in the prequels. I do
Um,
really like
I
the world building in the that this sets up though.
Yeah, because it immediately, I mean, it sets up the Trade Federation first, which is nice, as like the kind of political power, one of the political powers of the galaxy, which is nice. And then like Gunray, and then it has their connection to Sidious, which is nice. It just sets that political landscape. um, you go back to Tatooine immediately, which is nice,
Yeah,
and it goes right back home to where Luke is, and that's just a nice connection that it makes. You have Coruscant finally, which is nice. That's like the
I
it's the
really
mecca of
like.
it.
I think Coruscant looks awesome. Like it really looks beautiful in
Yeah,
the whole trilogy.
they do a good job with that planet. They do what else? I mean, Naboo is
Yeah,
awesome in that movie, especially because there's like it's almost like there's three separate parts of Naboo. There's the Theed, which is the city, like which is basically Italy, and then there's
yeah.
the grasslands where they do the big battle, and then there's the swamp, which is the underworld of Naboo. So I like that they split that into three different like subsections of the planet with like different species. It makes it feel like a totally new world, which is nice. And they continue to create like just Star Wars. I think better than any other series does so well at creating new species that just work. Like the big underground, there's always a bigger fish thing in that movie. Both of those species
Yeah.
just work. The Gungans work.
I mean I like the Gungan species. Like
Yeah,
I don't mind them. Like obviously Jar Jar has his like faults, but I think their whole like the underwater world they have is really cool to see.
It's a cool concept. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of just basically like an Atlantis type civilization.
Yeah. Um, Maul is, I mean, thank God they brought him back in Clone Wars because he's such a fleshed out character now. But in that movie, obviously he's subtle, and he doesn't say much. But I can't imagine how hyped the double sided lightsaber was in theaters. Seeing that for the first time, I've tried to find live reactions on YouTube. I can't, but that must have been like, t- a, if you, I'm sure people that were there for the double sided lightsaber probably would say it's like a top 5 theater moment they've ever seen. That was probably sick.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, even Noni Subtle, his design is like so menacing, and this is like your
How long it
first.
is, yeah.
Well, the
Are you
lightsaber,
talking
but
about the
also
lightsaber?
him.
Oh,
The
him, yeah.
lightsaber, but him. Like, this guy,
That's another.
like red and black paint with the
Mhm.
spikes on his head. You never
Yeah,
seen really a Sith like that in the OG. I mean, it was just
no, it gets
Vader.
creative. Yeah,
So you're seeing that there are more Sith out there, people on the dark side, and this is your first interaction, and it's just this creepy looking guy
yeah,
with spikes on his head with a double wielded, whatever, double sided lightsaber. It's
yeah.
insane.
Um, to go, I'll stick with the mall stuff, and then we'll go to a different part of the movie. But the Qui-Gon death, I just him dying to the lightsaber is fine, but I hate how they've gone back and kind of like retconned that's like an effective move now with all these people that survive the one the hits to the gut with the
Like,
lightsaber.
yeah,
Kylo survived it. Reva survived it twice. The Grand Inquisitor survived it. Like everybody just survives the lightsaber gut shots now, which sucks. But I mean,
yeah.
that's
No, I see where
Disney.
you're. Yeah,
Yeah,
and like, yeah, when Kylo gets stabbed and then has it force healed
yeah,
in Episode 9, just
yeah. I would love to know how Maul survived that fall. Like,
yeah, it's
just
funny
like
that he does come back, and obviously it's for the better. Like he's one of, like you said, more polarizing characters now and fleshed out.
mhm.
But like even the reaction there to just see him get cut in half, and then all these years go by, you don't see the character again. And he's
Well,
just
I mean, even
even when he was One Note, he was still this iconic character
yeah,
that
and like
lasted.
I even mean just like physically, like I'm fine with him surviving a slice, but to fall down essentially an endless shaft and not be able to like physically protect yourself in the fall, like he had to hit his head. Like there's no way he didn't. Like
Yeah, but I mean,
I know
Star
he's
like
force, I know he's
Star
force
Wars.
sensitive and stuff, but there's got to be a limit to that, right?
Yeah, I mean, I know Boba like kind of fought his way down the pit too, but like it's just
That
some
makes
Star
more
Wars
sense to me.
logic. Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
I don't. Yeah, because if he survived that, then maybe Mace is out there somewhere. You
I
never
hope
know.
not. I really hope not. But um, and then the only other I mean Jake Lloyd, I think, is fine as Anakin. I don't understand why he got so much hate at the time, but I think Jake Lloyd's he's perfectly fine as Anakin. Natalie Portman's good as Padme. That connection's good. It's a little bit weird, but it's good. Um,
I think that Jake Lloyd, he's not great, and I mean the excuse you can say is that he's like a kid actor, but also I feel like it was kind of, as much as we love Hayden Christensen, Anakin. He's also not great in the acting department overall in the trilogy, but I still couldn't imagine any other person playing the character.
yeah, I mean, well, I'll talk about that more when we get to those movies. I think both are fine. Uh, but yeah, I mean, Jake Lloyd's good. Liam Neeson as Qui Gon's great. Ewan McGregor obviously is great in that role. I mean, it's a fine movie. Like I understand people don't like it. Um, I maybe it's definitely it definitely is a movie that prevents me from, if I was introducing somebody to Star Wars. I'm not putting them on it chronological. Started with New Hope because New Hope's just a better movie all around.
Yeah.
If I started somebody on this movie, I feel like they would just get bored and want to quit. Do I get bored watching this movie? A little bit. I can put up with it because I'm a Star Wars nerd and I love it. But like, if I was so on Star Wars, like I probably would not finish this movie. It's just, I mean, it's
I,
it
th-
is what it is.
I think it has like a really high beginning and high end, but a lot of the meat of this movie is very slow. and
The
kind of
Naboo
boring.
stuff kind of drags for me. Every time it goes back to the Gungans, like it drags a little bit. Like some of the Padme politics stuff
I
drags,
think
but
this movie is where the politics is at its worst in the three, in my
because it's
opinion.
so politic heavy,
Yeah, that's what I'm
and it's
saying.
like it's
Yeah,
a little bit too politicky. Like it focuses a
because
little
I
bit too
think the
much
other
on it.
two blended in like a natural way
Yes,
that makes
yeah,
sense for what's going on.
yeah,
But I feel like the only excuse you could say for this one is that it's setting that up, and it has to maybe take the extra step compared to the other two because they're already set up from Phantom Menace.
yeah,
But it still doesn't mean it's
yeah. I
not
agree,
great to watch.
but I don't know. I mean, I don't really have much more to say on Phantom.
We're
We
not
did
we're not gonna talk about the pod
the pod
race
race. Yeah, I was
on the
gonna
pod
say.
race.
I know. That's the big
That's I
scene.
mean that's one of
I
my favorite scenes. Obviously, I mean I
Yeah,
love that scene in the prequel trilogy, and
yeah.
it's showing Anakin. Yeah, I mean
His
also
pilot.
at the end, Anakin does end up basically blowing up a Death Star. Like it's just a shoe in for the
Essentially,
Death
it's
Star.
like
Yeah,
it's a foreshadow of what the Skywalkers are capable of. Um, it's a nice callback. You would, I guess, I don't know, foreshadow or whatever. But uh, yeah, I mean, the pod racing stuff's fun. Sebulba's I love the way those look. The pod racers too. They're awesome.
yeah, that was like one of my least favorite levels in any of the Lego games.
Oh,
I
it's
hated
hard.
that
Yeah,
level.
especially the new one, the Skywalker Saga. I think that was pretty. I can't remember. I think it was pretty difficult to beat. But um, I don't know. I'm good on Phantom. If you want to go to attack, I think this is a little bit more of
Yeah, I
a
don't
topic.
think there's anything that we're missing
Yeah, I don't
except
think
well,
it's a controversial movie. I don't think there's anything to.
I mean you get the setup at the end where Obi-Wan gets like permission or granted like
Yeah,
to train Anakin, which is cool to see.
yeah,
Um but yeah, we can go into attack. I think attack it's one of my least favorite of this trilogy. And I mean, I know you agree slash disagree with the whole love story. Like it's pretty bad. I just think it's the worst written, like dialogue wise, of any. Arguably, well, I'm not going to talk of the first six. I think it's really bad dialogue wise. Some of the words that come out, especially Anakin, is
yeah. I
just.
mean,
But I mean, he's this teenager basically who's not allowed to be with anyone, love anyone, and then he gets sent alone on a trip with this girl that he's obsessed with. So,
yeah,
he's just he's feeling himself a little bit. So,
yeah. I
some
mean,
things come out.
it's like it's weird writing. It's hard to watch sometimes, but like he's a 19-year-old kid that had a crush on this girl forever, and she's one of the probably most beautiful women in the galaxy, and he's alone with her, and so he obviously is going to be awkward, just as any 19-year-old in that situation would be. So it's like it's realistic. It's just a hard watch because it's realistic, in
Yeah.
my opinion, which kind of works against the movie, unfortunately. But um, I think people drag that movie down too much because of that stuff. I think everything outside of and I'll die on this hill. I really don't care. I think everything outside of the love story stuff is really, really good. I think the setup with Django with Zam Wessel and the bounty hunter chase, I think that stuff is awesome, and it continues to build Coruscant and the underworld stuff even more. Like the Death Six scene, yeah, it's funny, but it builds that environment of Coruscant, which you
Yeah.
don't see in the first one, and that carries over into TV shows and stuff. So you have the bounty hunter chase, you have more politics, you have more Coruscant, you have the whole you go to Dex Diner and you have him, which is another cool alien that we get, and then it takes you to Camino with Django, who's an awesome bounty hunter. And I mean, it's obviously it's just another Boba, but it's just as cool as Boba, if not cooler. And you get introduced to the clones, and I think that stuff is stellar. I think Camino again, amazing world building. There's nothing to complain about there for me. I think Anakin killing the Tuscans and with his mom dying. I think that's one, it's emotional, and two, it's great foreshadowing for Vader.
Yeah. Yeah, because that whole scene it's just showing you that he can't really.
Yeah,
He's not really capable of controlling his emotions, especially when
he's
it
not.
comes to the
He's
people that he
19.
loves. So,
Yeah, he's
Well,
19.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that's my point. Yeah, like he's just it's a struggle, and then go to Geonosis with the Count Dooku. People love Count Dooku, and he's introduced in this movie. People
yeah.
love like they.
He's one of the better characters in this whole
Yeah,
trilogy. Even though he really doesn't even have that much screen time either.
he
Because
really
I mean,
doesn't.
he has the end of this movie, and then he
And three, he
has the
dies.
beginning of three. Yeah,
Yeah, and after that, it's Geonosis and the clones, and I love that ending battle scene. I absolutely I watch that all the time. Like, just I watch it back. It's a fun Jedi fight in the arena, and then you go to the clones coming down. And it introduces the gunship, which I love. I just I see why people get annoyed with this or don't like this because of the love story part of it, but I can not ignore it, but I can forgive it because of how good everything else to me is in episode 2. I think it's overhated.
I do agree that a lot of the other stuff is pretty good. Unfortunately, like I feel like you're getting to this or a big moment, or you're like the story's progressing pretty well, and then it cuts over to them and their little love story, which like obviously you have to check in with these two major characters as well. Sometimes it kind of destroys the pace, but I do agree that the Camino stuff is great, and also like none of the Jedi's, or at least Obi-Wan, didn't really know about all these clones being made, so he's
Yeah, they
kind of,
couldn't. Yeah.
yeah, so he's kind of figuring out what's going on there. I do think the Django introduction is great. It kind of sucks that he gets bounced right away at the end of this movie too. Both him
Yeah,
and Boba kind of get taken out of these trilogies, like
the fight with
with,
him and Obi-Wan on Kamino is awesome as well.
yeah, yeah. And Obi Wan's Jesus look in this movie,
Yeah.
Ewan McGregor. I think the one thing I don't like about this movie is that Obi Wan and Anakin are just not together a lot, which I know has to happen because of the like attempted assassination, and
Yeah.
Obi Wan is kind of tasked with going to figure out where the bullet came from, and Anakin's supposed to protect Padme, but it kind of just
Hmm.
sucks you don't have more of that interaction for this stage of Anakin's life, and he's still clearly a Padawan training a lot, and you see that at the end with how he approaches the Dooku fight.
Yeah.
But I do think the Geonosis stuff is great. Even the when him and Padme are trying to like go through that factory or whatever. I mean, I always remember every time I see that scene, I think of the Lego level. Like for some reason that's one of my favorite ones
Yeah.
from the sequel trilogy game or the prequel trilogy game. But I don't hate it. Like I don't like it. I do agree that it has a lot of positives. I do think the writing is just really bad in this one. But like you were saying with the end battle, like you see the droids throughout like this whole trilogy, and they kind of how they're stupid. Like I mean, they're stupid droids. Like they easily take them down, but they kill a lot of Jedi in that last scene, just because of how
Uh,
many there are.
yeah, that's the whole point is that there's
Yeah,
trillions of them in the galaxy.
so
It's
it
just
does
an
show how powerful they can be. Even Jedi's can't always take them down.
yeah, I mean at some point it's a numbers game. Like, it's just, you can only defend yourself against so many. That's why the clones were needed. Then you have your all out war, which is, something. And it is cool to see like certain clones that were in the Clone Wars that you don't realize are the clones in Attack.
Yeah.
I guess that lore comes out later on, but it is cool to make that tie in. The ending fight with them two and Dooku is fine. I think again, I would have loved to have been in the theater and seen Yoda light up the lightsaber for the first time and fight. It's a little bit funny watching it back just because of all the screaming, but I'm sure in the moment it was
Yeah.
cool as shit.
With his Lego death screen
Yeah.
in the
Um.
movie.
So yeah, I mean, my overall is just I don't like I like this movie. I like most Star Wars movies, but I like this one. I'm obviously nicer to this movie than most people. I just think the love story stuff in the writing is a bit hung over its head too much in this movie, and held against it a little bit hard. But I mean, that's just me. I'm sure somebody in comments will pick me apart on that. But
I do think the Clone era, Clone Wars era, like Clone Army and everything, I do think that might be my favorite era of Star Wars.
yeah,
Just and
easily.
that's probably also just growing up on it and
Hmm.
having that nostalgia factor. But I always like would pick the clone era if I was playing like Battlefront or
Battlefront. Yeah.
something,
Yep.
because I just like the droids versus the clones. I don't know. I just like it a lot better than the Empire versus the
Yeah.
Republic.
I will say in the last like 2 years, I've grown an appreciation for the OT, and so now I do find myself going and playing some OT stuff in Battlefront a little bit more than Republic, but I still love everything Republic. Like it's my favorite era by far. So,
Yeah.
um, anything else on two?
Uh, I mean, with the Dooku fight, I mean, you see how seasoned and how powerful Dooku really is. I mean, he takes down Obi-Wan and Anakin,
Yeah.
and then he doesn't beat Yoda, but he does outsmart him in a way to get out of that situation.
Yeah.
And then you also see I we didn't really talk about it yet, and obviously it's more effective in Revenge of the Sith, but Palpatine is so great in this trilogy,
Yeah.
and just seeing
Just
how
yeah.
he like slithers his way
The
to
mastermind.
manipulate, yeah, both sides, and everything's according to plan. He tells Dooku at the end like everything's happening as it should happen, how I want it to happen, and the war is starting.
And I love how Dooku and Maul both think that they're right there with him, but they're totally in the dark and they don't even know it as far as
Yeah,
like what's going on. And everybody's in the dark except for him, which is just it's pretty cool that they're able to set it up that way. It's really well done. That's why I mean the planning that George did for those first six so far in advance, and then waiting to do the first three because he didn't have the tech he needed to be able to do them. Brilliant. I
yeah.
think it was brilliant.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, I haven't looked it up, but I mean, the prequel trilogy had to have way more funding than the OG, so
I'm sure. Yeah,
without
I
a
mean,
doubt.
just off inflation, but yeah, I mean, I'm sure Revenge of the Sith with that CGI had insane funding.
Yeah, I also think the CGI in the whole trilogy doesn't look that bad. Like, I think the effects still hold
One
up. Some of them,
one can be rough, but the other two are good.
some of them can look a little wonky at times.
Uh huh.
More, I think it's more specifically when the clones are kind of shown up close and there's multiple in the same scene. They kind of look a little wonky, but it's not that bad.
There's a couple scenes in three where they look a little bit wonky. Um, there's a scene in the hangar before they go to Utapau where they have their helmets off and Cody's there, and there's a
Yeah,
couple other
that's
ones.
the scene. That's the scene that always
Yeah,
comes to mind,
yeah,
and it's always and they're all like different hairstyles and stuff, and it just looks a little
yeah.
wonk. Yeah,
The
but
hairstyles is fine to me, but there are like two different actors that they use, Tamora Morrison, and then there's another guy, I forget his name, that they use as like a foundation for filming for him, and it's just a bit inconsistent sometimes. But besides the point,
and then it ends off with the holy wedding, secret
it
wedding
does. That
that
is right.
definitely wouldn't go wrong.
Yeah,
But um, yeah, I think there are a good amount of pros to this. I think I do. I can see. I don't think the love story should tear it down as much, like you said. It does take away a lot, and it's just I feel like if the dialogue was a little better, it just would have been it would have
yeah,
made for a better movie. But I do also like the how it starts with Anakin's like nightmares, and he's kind of seeing into the future with those nightmares. Goes
yeah.
finds his mom, outrage, and then you see that later on in the third
I
one,
just
Padme.
I think the love story stuff is a hard, cringy watch, and it makes it hard for people to get through it to the rest of the movie, which brings it down naturally. But if you can do that, I think the rest of it's really good. And so you kind of have to just battle through it there. But I
Yeah.
for that reason, I can see why people bring it down. But I think it's a bit harsh. But yeah,
All right, you wanna? I'll let you start off with Revenge of the Sith. Obviously, we both think it's the best one of this trilogy. One of the,
yeah, it's the best of the three. I think it's the third best Star Wars movie,
yeah,
behind five and four.
it's my second. I would say it's
It's
my second favorite.
it's
Even
the
if
third best. It's my first favorite.
I'm fine with that. Yeah, I think I like Empire a little bit more, but I could easily put Revenge above it
Yeah,
tomorrow.
it's.
So
I mean, I don't have a bad thing to say about it. I know there are some bad things in it, but I think it's a great movie. Uh, Hayden, I think, really obviously comes into his own in this movie. Yeah, there's more cringe dialogue at points, and it's a little bit wonky, but I think that's in line with the character, and I think that's how he's supposed to be an emotional wreck. And wonky and not all there, and he's unstable, and I think his acting portrays that well. And I love that 20 years later, Hayden is getting the love he deserves for playing that role. So I'm happy people have come around on it. Ewan is great, no complaint. Obviously, nothing to say about Ewan. Ian McDermott is fantastic in this movie.
Yeah.
The I the opening with the Venator and coming down on it with the drum beat, and then it expands and you see all of the ships over Coruscant for that battle is awesome. It's my
I think the
favorite
opening scene
opening in Star Wars.
is great. It's so
Yeah,
good.
my favorite opening in Star Wars. I love it. It's so good. And then again, the world building. You go Coruscant, and you're in space in Coruscant. You go Order 66. You go to all these different planets. You go Kashyyyk, Felucia, Megiddo. Um, what's the one with Plo Koon? The bridge. It's in Clone
I'm
Wars.
blanking. I know what you're
I
talking about.
Yeah.
We literally
Um,
talked about it last week because it was one of the Battlefront levels, but I can't think of the
I
name
don't
of
know if
it.
that planet's in Battlefront. Uh, I'll look it up. It's in Clone Wars, and I totally am blanking on the name here. Cato Nemoidia. That's it. Um, but yeah, the world building is great in that movie. And Mustafar as well is another one. It's just it's the prequels are so creative with the planets they introduce to the movies. And then the I guess Order 66 is just it's perfect. I think it's so well
I
done.
mean, I think it's arguably the second most iconic scene after the "I am your father" in the whole
Ooh, is it?
second or third. I'm trying to like.
Is it second or
I mean,
third?
Vader's.
I
You
would.
don't.
Mm, that's tough. Is it
What
the
would you
most?
have?
Is it second most? I'm trying. I'm weighing it out with
Because
Luke
I'm like
taking
thinking of
off
like.
Vader's mask.
Yeah, it was. Well, that was the only other scene I could kind of like get
Yeah.
up there with it is like Vader's redemption
If
scene.
we're talking the six, those are the three. If we're talking everything, I would put in the Rogue One hallway scene.
Okay.
I
Well,
would
okay.
if we're
I was
talking
thinking
all of
mainly
them.
like Skywalker saga, but I'm fine with that too.
Yeah.
So you're
But if we're
saying you would put
talking
that over it?
no, I would put it in the conversation.
Okay.
I might not put it over, but it's in the combo. But for the six, yeah, I think that's the top three: the Vader removal, the I Am Your Father, and Order 66.
I yeah, I would probably agree. I mean, there's nothing in the sequels that is going to get up there. So,
No. Um,
but,
a lot of the sequels, it's hard too because a lot of the sequel stuff is memed, and so it feels iconic, but it's not. Like the Hello There or the Eye of the High Ground, like it's very popular, but maybe because
are you talking
more
about the
of
prequels or the sequels?
yeah the prequels.
Oh, okay.
Eye of the High Ground, like
I know you said
Hello There.
sequels. That's why
It's
I was confused
did
at
I?
first.
Sorry, but prequels, yeah, a lot of it's like memed where it feels iconic, but maybe it's not because it's just like it's all over the
I really
internet.
don't
It's
think the
memed.
hello there scene's really that like it's just a meme. It's not. I don't
Yeah,
think
it's
it's
a meme.
iconic. Like rewatching it, I'm like yeah, it's kind of a funny delivery and the way he says it, but it's not really like
Yeah,
the
another
scenes.
planet, Utapau. Yeah,
The scene itself, like that specific moment, is not iconic to me. Well, I mean, you speaking of kind of that scene, like the introduction to Grievous here,
hmm
and it's just seeing this
another really cool character.
robot wield four lightsabers.
They need to do his backstory in an animated show
Yeah,
badly.
I would like. I'm kind of surprised they haven't done more with him overall.
It's such a thing to capitalize on. I don't know why Disney throws stuff like this away, but
Because like
it could easily
he's
do
kind
it.
of like close to Maul in terms of like, obviously Maul's like this more fleshed out character, but after seeing the prequel trilogy, I think the one thing I will say about the prequels that kind of sucks is that you have all these characters that you were like you want to know where they come from and how they got to this point, like Grievous and even Maul. So I hope one day they can make something with it. I can't imagine it being that
Yeah,
hard to do.
I
And
mean
I think
it's it's like it's in the books and stuff, but not everybody reads those, and so you want to see it on your screen. Luckily, they're doing. I think not to spoil, but they're doing some of that with Maul right now. Um, but Grievous, we haven't gotten it. I would love to get it for Django. And get that whole story of how he
yeah,
got. recruited, even though it's in the video game and it's in the books. But I want to see it on the screen.
Yeah, but
I
seeing it on like a TV show or even a movie, it's like a different medium, and they can
Yeah,
flesh it out more and tell it in a different way.
yeah.
That'd still
They
be
did.
fresh.
Luckily, they did it with Dooku, which was nice to see.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's other characters that they could, jump the gun on with that and go for it.
The one thing I do, I mean, I don't really have it. I don't hate this movie at all. It's one of my favorite Star Wars. I do think it has its cons that you can still throw out the window a little bit. Like you can willing to forgive it, kind of like how you are with like the whole love story angle in Attack of the Clones.
Mm-hmm.
But I do like Anakin's internal battle this whole movie and trying to do what's right, but ultimately falling short of that and turning over to the dark side. But he just wants to be part of the Jedi Council. They keep, I mean, Yoda kind of like hates on Anakin this whole trilogy. He's just not.
He's very like dismissive of like he hears him out, but he's dismissive of like the actual solution or like the right solution to his problems. So it's
Yeah,
like tricky. Like you like Yoda, but it's like you could be a little bit better with going about things.
but I mean, you could probably say that Yoda senses like the turmoil and everything in him, and maybe that's why he's a little bit more
Yeah,
skeptical
definitely.
about it. Um, but the whole movie, Anakin, I mean, he's just kind of wanting to be accepted and respected as a Jedi,
Mm-hmm.
and then the only person that, even though it's not really giving him respect because he's just playing his trick, is Palpatine, who's telling him how powerful he is, and then
Yeah,
I mean he gets him with the whole story about um,
Plagueis.
Plagueis,
Yeah,
yeah, saving someone from death using the Force,
yeah.
and he's like only someone from the dark side can do that, and that's where you're kind of setting up Anakin's turn as
The
well.
office scene later. Yeah, it's I think it's a nice. It's a well done turn. I think I've heard people say it's rushed. I don't understand why it's rushed to some people. You have three movies fleshing it out. Like that's the whole point of the
I
prequels is to
think
flesh that turn.
I don't think overall it's rush. I do think the very finale of him turning does feel. I could see why, because he finds out Palpatine is a Sith. He's like this Dark Lord the whole time. He goes and tells Windu, um, and Windu also he tells him Windu's like, "You're staying here. You're not coming." Like that also.
Which is the right decision.
Oh yeah, no doubt. Because I
Yeah,
mean, you see what happens when he does show
when he
up,
does show up. Yeah,
and like even that scene, he's like, he say when Windu has Palpatine dead right in front of him, basically, and Anakin's like, "That's not the Jedi way." It's also just ironic for his character after what he did earlier in the movie, but I think it's also
yeah,
showing maybe he regrets that decision as well.
yeah. It's him looking for a lifeline to like save Padme. Like maybe we shouldn't kill him and see if he really
Yeah,
can help me, but also hold him accountable. But it is, if you don't look at it that way, if you just look at it on the surface, it is out of line with his character in Clone Wars in the movies. But it's a shame because people say he told him to wait in the chambers. When he comes back, he probably was going to promote Anakin to Master for figuring that out, and then it never happens.
yeah,
So
and I mean he doesn't do the final blow, but he kills Mace
yeah,
right after that. After he tells
yeah,
him you can't do that, it's not the Jedi way.
yeah, he cuts off
And
his
then I
hand.
think
Yeah,
my feeling that is rushed because right after that he's just like, I'll serve you now. But the main reason is to, in his mind, he can save Padme if he does that.
yeah. I mean, I don't mind that because I feel like that is the vision of what turning to the dark side looks like. Like I feel like it's it's a slow burn, but then it just happens and you're seduced in a moment. Obviously there's things that lead up to it, but it's just you're seduced. It's where Luke almost gets it in 6, where Palpatine tries to turn him and he has a moment, and then he comes to the realization no, and that was going to be a sudden turn and it wasn't. So I do think like there's I don't
Yeah,
think him turning and being seduced in that moment is rushed. I can see why people say it because on screen it's just you go from good guy to that in a second, but it makes sense if you envision what turning to the dark side looks like, in my opinion.
No, I agree. I think like overall the prequels, like you said, I think it does do a good job progressing that story and saying like showcasing how he does get the Vader. I mean, the first one, not so much, but it's showing that, and I mean George intended it that this innocent kid could turn into
Yeah.
the most feared person in the galaxy that slaughters thousands and
Yep.
thousands of people. And then with the Tusken Raider scene, like we talked about earlier, an attack that's laying the foundation for it. And this whole movie is internal battle, and he just wants to save Padme, which is, and Yoda even like warns him, is like, this is why you don't grow attachments as a Jedi, and his attachments ultimately led to him turning against the Jedi and becoming Vader in the end.
Yeah, I don't understand the yeah, them expecting people to live under that rule is tough. I don't know how you expect people with
Yeah, I
emotions to
mean,
just
like
channel them.
even Obi-Wan doesn't really live under that rule
He channels it
himself.
to an extent, but like he still has everybody has them.
Yeah.
So it's tough. That's why Luke is so, perfect as a Jedi in the end, because or not in the sequels, but 6 in the EU, because he is willing to work with those emotions but not let it not let it ruin him, but he lets them be, and
Yeah.
they're part of him. So he doesn't just block them out, which is well done. I don't anything else for
And then
for 3 here.
I mean, right after the whole Mace Windu scene, that's when you get to Order 66, and like it's meme now, but it's like it is like a terrifying scene. Like the youngling scene is not like people
Oh yeah.
joke about it, and when when the kids like, what do we do?
Youngling
And you
Slayer.
just see the scene, yeah. But like just imagining like those kids and how they're going through. I mean, you kind of see a little point of view with the what Fallen Order.
You
You
see it
kind
in a
of get
few.
to
You
see
see it
that a
Fallen
little bit.
Order. You see it in there's a few shows where you see the temple. Kenobi, you see it with Riva
Yeah,
as a
yeah,
youngling. You see it with Grogu in the temple in Boba Fett, I think it was. So it's
yeah. You
it's a
see the
very
different
it's a
points of
frightening
view.
perspective.
Um, and then yeah, I like you do. I do also even it is kind of funny like the when they're on Kashyyyk, you're like, this Wookiee has to be Chewbacca, and
Yeah, it
then all
obviously
like
is.
Yoda
Yeah,
just randomly he's like, thank you Chewbacca, and just names drops him just so you're right. But like I mean that whole scene was great too.
I
I
love the
loved
Battle of
watching
Kashyyyk.
the yeah
I love it. The music on it, the ships, the turbo tank is freaking massive on that. I love that battle too. That's a great one. I wish it was. It's one of those that I just wish we would see. Like I would love to watch a 20-minute montage of just that battle and everything going on. Like I just that would be so cool.
yeah. But even with Order 66, I mean, you see the fall of the Jedi, and like it, it's a powerful scene seeing all these Jedi's, the clones just turn on them just like that. Yoda feels it,
Yeah.
and you see why Yoda and Obi Wan are one of the few survivors
Mm-hmm.
of it, because they kind of, they fish out that the come home message
It's a
is not
fake
real.
call.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, we didn't really talk. The Yoda versus Palpatine scene is great.
Oh, and the fact that it happened simultaneous with Anakin and Obi-Wan is awesome as well. Like that
Oh yeah,
stuff's really good. I
we
think,
really
right?
didn't even talk about
It
that
is. It is
either.
simultaneous, right?
Yeah, I
I
think
think it
so.
is.
The
I think
one
it's
thing I thought was
simultaneous.
funny was when Mace came with the other Jedi and like Palpatine starts doing freaking front flips and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Like Yoda, I'm more like I can believe it a little bit more, but seeing Palpatine just do those flips was just funny. He like
It
takes
is.
out half those Jedi like nothing, and it's not even like he really uses that much to take them out, which is funny to
Yeah.
me.
I don't know. They say the spin with the Sith scream like freezes them and scares the shit out
Okay.
of them, and that's why he's able to do that instantly. But it is funny how he's like, I don't know how old he is. Let's just say he's like 65 doing that, and then you have Ben in the originals, and he's just doing like a
Yeah.
slow ass spin, and he's like this.
Well, overall, I mean, in the prequels, we didn't really get to it yet. Like, I like flip flop if I really like it or not. I do like the. I think I said last week I didn't, but I'll retract my statement if I did say that. I do like the fight scene, the lightsaber battles way more in the prequels, just because they're doing more. I do
Yeah,
think sometimes they're doing like front flips and stuff. It can be a little much, but it's more entertaining to see than like you just said, like episode 4,
yeah,
where they're just like kind of just hitting each other with like how you'd play outside
yeah. I
with the
think
toy
it's
lightsabers.
yeah, I think it's well done. The choreography is really good from Nick Gillard in those movies. It's so much better than the sequels where they just like smack each other with sticks. Like they're not even
Yeah, it's kind of like
choreographed.
it's like a little step up from the OT, but like I don't really think that's saying anything just because it's so much a
Yeah,
different time.
it is crazy. Like if you look at so in the Clone Wars, Ahsoka obviously is like very like choreographed and coordinated in her fighting. And then you go to the show Ahsoka, and it's like Rosario Dawson is terrible with it, but then Hayden still is like electric and moving fast as shit. And they had to tell him to slow down in the recording. So like I don't know, that discrepancy there in like talent with the lightsaber and what they're able to do is crazy.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I do. The one thing I forgot to say when we were talking about it, like it is. I love seeing Mace go against Palpatine too, because you just see how he really is
The
this like
strongest.
great swordsman
Yeah.
duelist, and he kind of. I mean, he. I don't really think he struggles too much, in my opinion, with
No,
Palpatine.
he overpowers him and beats him.
Yeah,
Essentially one on one. He doesn't even really use the other three.
I know they're all dead by the
Yeah.
time that he even
So
gets to Mace. So,
yeah. I mean, if Anakin's not there, he wins. He beats him, and nothing happens.
oh yeah, I
So
mean, yeah.
so yeah. They need to
Um,
do a what if for Star Wars, little animated thing. I wouldn't mind that.
what if Anakin didn't get there in time?
Just a
It would
what if
just
on everything. Like,
it
what
would
if he
just like
didn't
end there.
turn? Yeah, what it?
Yeah,
You
I mean
know?
it would be no, I agree. Obviously, if he didn't turn, I mean like nothing in the OT would even happen.
Yeah, you'd
So
get like a
you'd
happy ending. Padme,
yeah, they'd like
Anakin, Luke,
vacation.
Leia. Yeah,
Yeah,
Uncle
it'd kind of
Obi
be
Wan,
interesting
and
though to see like that though if they did like see the family all together.
yeah, they should do it. It'd be cool. There's a bunch of what if things they could do. They probably would do all the wrong topics, but they could do it.
Well, would he even be able to still be on the council and everything if everything didn't happen? And they would clearly find out that Luke and Leia were his kids. I mean, Obi-Wan already kind of knew, but everyone else would
Yeah, but do you make
figure
an
that
exception for him finding out who the Sith Lord was?
maybe because he
Like,
would end the war and
and like
bring
that marriage
peace.
is the reason that you find out. Like without that
Yeah,
marriage, they don't know. So
that's true.
I don't. You might have to make an exception, but like I don't know. He might willingly leave and just say, you know what, I'm gonna live with my kids and wife. Who knows? He
Yeah,
very well could do that.
true. Um, obviously we don't have to like go too much into it because we like everyone knows it's great the Mustafar fight
Yeah,
and Anakin's kind of hubris getting in the way of him and resulting in him turning into Vader.
yeah.
I will ask, do you wish from 3 for Revenge of the Sith to New Hope, do you wish that this was the last time they saw each other? Or do you like that they saw each other in Kenobi?
I don't mind it. I just wish it was done better
I think
in the
I
show.
agree with that.
I think it's 20 years. I think is fine for them to go and see each other 10 years in one time. Um, it just
Because I do like the
it
Anakin
makes
is gone
sense.
scene, obviously, but like that show, I think could have been handled better in terms of that
That's
overall.
the one scene I think is done well.
Yeah,
But I don't mind them seeing each other in between. I think it's fine. I think it works.
yeah. I mean, I don't really hate it too much either. I just know that's a gripe
Yeah,
some
they
people
could have
have
done
with
it
it.
better, like I said. But like, I the concept of it, I think is okay.
Yeah. Um. I mean, I will say, I mean, Padme's death is so stupid, but I understand why it happened, but it also is still a little stupid. But you
Yeah,
have
I mean, I
to.
don't. I guess there's really no other way to do it, but it is lackluster. Like it's like, damn, that's how she goes. Like it could have been cooler, but it makes sense because
It
she.
makes
I
sense
don't.
because it also turns Vader more to like this psychotic, like the chaos of his mind and
Yeah, because
everything.
I did all this for her and now she's dead because of you.
Yeah, and then Palpatine saying, "In your rage, you killed her." That scene, also, that scene is
Yeah.
so good with the Vader
The
construction.
construction, I love it. I don't mind the screen.
Oh, I mean,
I think it's fine.
yeah,
It's people hate
I
it,
don't
but
care.
like I think it's good. It works. It makes sense.
It's
He's broken
it's
down. He's
obviously a meme
destroyed.
one, but
Yeah, I do like the seeing the Death Star constructed at the end and the
yeah,
grayed out Venators and it's like the Empire
yeah,
starting to really form. It's very cool. I like that they do
I do
that.
like that scene too. And overall, like I already said, like I just like how Palpatine is so central to the prequels after really not and not he's really not in the OT at all
He's
until the
only a
end.
hologram in 5 and he's in 6
Yeah.
at the
So to
end.
see how he rose to the power got Vader,
Yeah,
I love it. I think it's great. And I don't, like I said earlier, I don't mind the politics of it when like his involvement in it. Because I think it makes sense for the
yeah.
story and it doesn't take too much away outside of Phantom Menace. So
Do you think somebody let him hit in the prequels or the originals
I
for
forgot
to
about that,
be the
dude.
grandfather
It's got
after
to
he
be.
was
It's
charred
got.
or before he was charred?
I forgot about that, dude. That's how stupid the sequels are.
Mm-hmm.
It's got to be when he was Chancellor,
Yeah, had to be, had to be. I
or
don't
even
see.
like
Yeah,
before that.
yeah. Ugh, it's crazy.
Well, wait, how
Well, they
much
don't
time is between the prequels and the sequels?
like 60 years.
60?
Yeah, I mean
That's not that bad.
Luke is
That's not
probably
that
about
bad.
60. Yeah, it's probably not bad.
Cause like Ray could be past. I don't know if they ever say Ray. She could be like 30 something. That's fine.
I always assume she's like between 21 to 25.
That's still fine though. Her
So,
parents could be 30 to 40
which means
range.
yeah, that works.
So
So, all right. I have screen times for prequels if you want to guess again, and then we'll get out of here.
yeah, we can go through that. I mean the obvious ones. Um, I
Yeah.
would
So
say I would say Anakin and Obi-Wan are 1 and 2. I would probably say Obi-Wan would be 1, or is it Anakin?
Anakin is 1, Obi-Wan's 2.
Okay. Now some of these, I'm gonna say Padme's 3.
She is.
Okay, and then would Palpatine be 4?
Palpatine is 4.
All right. So there's just a lot of. The issue is I know what characters are probably gonna be here, but what order are they in? I'm gonna jump down to like 10. Is Jar Jar like 9 or 10?
He's not 9 or 10.
Okay, but damn, Phantom Menace really, dude. He's in that.
Yeah, he's
He's
in
in
that
that movie
movie.
so much.
He
All right, I'm gonna put him at 6.
he is 3, 4. He is 7. He's got 20 minutes.
Only 22. That feels like he has more. All
Also,
right, I'm gonna name.
Anakin has 124 minutes. Obi-Wan has 92.
They're off by
Padme
30 minutes.
Yeah,
Damn.
it's crazy. Padme has 72 and Palpatine has 36.
Um, I'm gonna name some characters. You can say if they're on there, and then I'll try to organize them. I feel like that might.
Okay.
All right. Yoda's. I would assume has got to be on there.
He's on there with 25 minutes. He's 1 ahead of Jar Jar.
So he's 6. Man, you're spoiling.
Oh,
Bro.
sorry. Yeah. All right,
All right. So Yoda's 6. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 7. 6, 7, and 6. Um, is Mace like 9?
Mace is 9.
Okay.
He's got 14.
We didn't even talk about these characters at all in this. And I'll ask you after. Is R2 10?
He's not 10.
He's 8.
Yeah.
Is 3PO 10?
3PO is not on the list.
He's really not in it that much. What do you think of I kind of wanted to ask you that. Do you like that Anakin built 3PO? Do you like that?
I do.
Okay. I don't
like
mind
that.
it.
I think it's a nice connection. It makes sense. It works through the rest of the trilogy. It's not like it doesn't feel forced.
Yeah, I do like that it shows Anakin's intelligence, but also it connects these two droids to him, and then through everyone through the Skywalker saga. So,
Yeah.
um,
You got two more.
maybe what 5 and 8.
You have 5 and 10.
Oh, I thought I got 10. Was R2 not 10?
No, he was 8.
Oh, how much screen time does 10 have?
11 minutes.
Dude, 11 minutes. Is it I'm blanking on his first name. Is it what is it, Senator or Organa? Is he on this
That's a
list?
good pull. It's not him, but that's a good pull. I wonder where he's at.
Cause like he's not in a lot, but he
He's
does
in
pop in
two
here and
and he's in
there.
2 and 3 a lot.
Oh, is
I'm
Maul 10?
Maul's not 10.
Is he 5?
He's not 5. He's not on the
Oh,
list.
he's not on the list. Damn, maybe this
Organa's a
wasn't
good
as
pull. I'm
easy.
shocked he's not on this.
I'm just trying to think. Oh, Grievous 10.
Grievous is not on the list.
Dooku at 10.
Yeah, Dooku. Dooku's at 10.
Okay.
So you have 5 left.
5. How much time they got?
He's got 35 minutes.
Oh, he.
Damn.
Why am I blanking? Anakin. Oh, Qui-Gon.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Qui-Gon.
Yeah, I can't. I guess because he died. I figured, but
And he doesn't show up again in the other two. So I guess you don't really think he's got much. Would you
yeah,
consider him the main character of 1?
I still think it would be Anakin. But I would say he
I feel
is.
like he's
It's
the
like 1A,
lead.
1B.
He's the lead, but he's not the main character. Is that like a fair way to put it?
No, I mean that makes sense. I think it would be like 1A, 1B with him and Anakin.
Yeah.
Because Qui-Gon is the central focus. Like, I mean, Obi-Wan doesn't even like meet Anakin until towards the end of the movie.
Yeah.
So
I mean, he meets him, but like he doesn't connect to him.
yeah, they don't really So
Interact.
I think it's fair to say he's the lead, but not. I mean, Anakin's the main character of the whole trilogy. So
Yeah,
and even
easily. Yeah.
Phantom Menace, it centers around getting Anakin
Hmm.
off of
Yeah.
Tatooine so they can start
Off-world.
training him. So
Yeah.
damn.
So
I think I said this to you not on. I think, and you could disagree, that the prequels have more iconic. I don't want to say iconic. I think better characters all around than the OT, in my personal opinion.
better characters or better supporting? Because before you said supporting.
Yeah, but I don't know. Anakin is my favorite character in all of Star Wars, so I'm biased there. And you get to see Obi-Wan. I would say that
So
when we talked about last week, what the core 5 or 6 in the OT is better than any core 5, 6 in the prequels, because there's not really a core. It's really just Anakin and Obi-Wan as
yeah.
like the
If you go
duo.
the core, I would give it core 7 because I would go Luke, Leia, Han, Chewie, R2, 3PO, Vader is the core 7.
Oh yeah, that's yeah.
And then I would say your supporting characters in that are like Lando, Boba, Palpatine, um,
Yoda.
Yoda,
Would you
Ben,
put Would you put Jabba?
Jabba, Ben. So you're at like 5 supporting good characters. You've got your 6, 7 main characters there. So like, uh, and then you go to the prequels and Anakin, Obi-Wan drop off, and then it's Padme.
I usually I would say Padme, or if we're Palpatine
But
for.
like,
I just think
is
I
Palpatine even like a main? He's a main in 3, but he's
I
not
see what you're
really.
saying, but I don't like. I just think this. I guess I'll go back to supporting, but I just like Maul, Dooku, Grievous. I just think
So
are
I
more
would I would
interesting
say
characters.
the OT has a better core, but as
Yeah,
soon as you get
no,
to supporting, the prequels is like unlimited elite supporting characters.
no, I agree with that. Yeah, I like I said when I kind of backtracked, like the core, like you're not beating the core of the OT because it's such a solidified group throughout,
Mm-hmm.
and then like the prequels is really just Anakin and Obi-Wan with like a little bit
Yeah,
of side stories in there when like Anakin goes to protect Padme.
yeah,
But I do think the supporting characters, like the Jedi Council, like Mace Windu, everything like that is
They're
just
great characters. Qui-Gon, uh, Django, Grievous, Maul, Palpatine to an extent, Dooku. It's a lot of great.
even like I mean Yoda is I think Yoda's more interesting in the OT, but
Even in the
overall.
prequels, there's like cool like characters that just have like a moment, like Commander Cody, Dexter.
Yeah.
And in the OT, you don't really get that. Like the only one that gets like a moment is Garrido. Like I like there's
Yeah, and
not
I
really
really
anyone.
don't care for Greedo at all.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah,
Personally.
neither
Like
do I. So there's not really anybody in the OT that like gets those types of recognition, like a moment like that.
yeah.
So the prequels definitely fleshes out more than the OT.
Yeah, and obviously the Clone Wars helps, but even without that, like I just think the supporting characters
Yeah,
are a lot cooler and more
yeah,
interesting. So,
yeah. I agree.
and you get to see. I mean, I don't know. Do you like Jabba in in Phantom Menace being there?
He's fine. Yeah, I guess like is whatever. Not
Um,
really important.
yeah, no.
Watto.
Yeah, I mean, I like Watto is an interesting character. Obviously, he's a scumbag, but I don't know. Some of his scenes are funny. So
I don't know. Are you good? I'm good
yeah,
on it.
I'm good.
All right.
I'm good. So yeah,
Yeah.
no episode Saturday. We're kind of trying to work on something for the 4th on Monday,
Yeah.
and then next week we'll sadly get into the sequels that I'm not excited to rewatch.
Yeah, I don't want to. I haven't seen any of them since they came out in theaters, so I'm not excited to go back to that, but have to do it. So, is what it is.
Yeah, um,
We'll
but
have to
yeah,
do Rogue One and Solo as well. I just rewatched both of those. So that'll be probably the week after these two or
yeah,
these
I'm fine with
sequels.
that. And then I want to do a mall review too, so we'll
Yeah.
get into all that.
Yeah.
We got a big month of May ahead, and then
Yeah.
Mando's almost here,
I'm
almost
excited.
time.
Yeah. So,
So
all right. Well, thank you everybody for watching. We will see you guys Monday, not Saturday, and we'll do a May 4th Star Wars episode again. We'll have some stuff on that. So, all right.
yeah.
Thank you everybody for watching.